welcome to the start of a new video. This week's video is going to be in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, which is going on right now. It begins on September 15th and ends on October 15th. I've seen online, after doing a little bit of research, it looks like there's a couple different names that this goes by depending on who you're talking to. A lot of people call it Hispanic Heritage Month, a lot of people call it Latinx Heritage Month, and then some people gender it as Latino or Latina Heritage Month, but it seems like the most generally accepted is either Hispanic Heritage Month or Latinx Heritage Month, so I took my pick between those two. In celebration, I'm going to be reading some autumnal books by Latinx authors. So the first one I have here is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. This is a book about a girl who goes to visit her cousin. She gets a letter from her cousin kind of in a little bit of distress saying that something's going on. She thinks her husband is poisoning her, and our main character Noemi immediately jumps into action to go see what's going on with her cousin, try and figure out if there is anything afoot that is suspicious with the husband there. I am just a tad away into this book, maybe like 30 pages, and I'm already really liking it. I love the author's writing style. I think it's going to be very suspenseful and that I'm going to get really attached to our main character over the course of this book. So good things so far to say about that one. Next book that I plan on reading is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is by a trans Latino author, and I think that this is going to be really excellent. It is about a trans boy. He's looking to perform a really intense brujo ritual and prove himself to his family and bring back someone from the dead. Instead of bringing back the person that he meant to bring back, though, he brings back a boy from his school who passed on and some adventures happen from there. I think there might be a little bit of a love to hate relationship between the two of them, and so I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be really good, really spooky, and it's got some Day of the Dead representation, I believe, so that's going to be great. And then the last one I have is The Inheritance of Orquidea Divina by Zoraida Cordova, and this one is about a family, the Montoya family, who are kind of gathering together to discuss the inheritance that was left to them by their matriarch, and that's pretty much all I know. I think there might be something a little bit magical about this one, but I'm not too sure. I didn't want to go in with a ton of knowledge because I'm just, you know, that tagline hooked me and I don't need to know anymore. So I'm going to be reading these 3 books over the course of the week, and I'll keep you updated. we got ourselves some Caribbean food for dinner. I'm so excited. Hang on. I need both hands for this. This looks so good. This is, I had to just look it up how to pronounce it. It is arroz con pollo and empanadas. And what'd you get? What is it?
Pollo guisado.
Pollo.
Pollo.
So, I'm about 100 pages into Mexican Gothic, and as I predicted, I am very, very attached to our main character, Noemi. She is like the perfect amount of sass. She's the perfect amount of like politeness, but sass, and she's very independent. She's very like knows who she is, what she likes, and she doesn't take flack from anyone, and I just like literally adore her, and not only adore her but like wish that I was her. Like, I need to grow a spine and stand up to people the way that she does, because I do not. I'm very much a pushover. So I'm really loving that book. Right now, where the plot is at, we are getting to know the family that Noemi's cousin has married into. Everybody's a little sketch. We're learning some history that the townspeople are like presenting to Noemi of this like murders that happen. There's like these epidemics that kept cropping up among the people who worked in the family's mine, and like all this different information. So things are getting a little spooky. The next one that I'm reading is Cemetery Boys, and they're all winners in this video. We have had a death in the family, and this happens right off the bat, so I'm not spoiling anything for you. It literally happens in chapter 2. So they've just discovered that one of the brujos that our main character Yadriel is very close with has passed on, and they're trying to figure out what happened. And I think Yadriel is experiencing a lot of transphobia so far. So a trigger warning to you if that, will be upsetting to you, disturbing to you. This may not be the book for you. He comes from a very loving family, but a ignorant family in that, they try to accept him, but they also stand with tradition that, someone assigned female at birth is not allowed to perform the like magical rituals that men are allowed to do, and they're excluding him from their definition of men right now, and that's obviously really upsetting to Yadriel, and he is pushing back on that. He's trying to prove himself as just as much a man as anyone assigned male at birth. So I fully expect, and if I'm not given this, I will be mad, but I think in the end everything will be resolved on this, and he'll be fully accepted by his community. I hope. I pray. I need that resolution for him. So anyway, that one is going well too. Hello. I am exhausted because I stayed up until 5 a.m. reading, and I barely have two coherent thoughts to rub together, but I'm gonna talk about books anyway. I finished Cemetery Boys and Mexican Gothic, and they were both 5 stars. Really good. I enjoyed them a lot. Cemetery Boys, I would say, is kind of definitely like a storyline that you've seen before, and like a setup that you've seen before. Like, it's very much a typical YA adventure-y type of a story, but I definitely think the characters are something fresh, and the like culture brought in is something fresh. I think if you enjoyed reading Rick Riordan books when you were younger or when you were older, it doesn't matter, that this is a book that you would like. It has the same type of like mythology brought in and woven into the story, as well as kind of the same type of humorous, bantering characters that those books have. So if you are a fan of those, I think you will like this. Or if you have kids who are into that book series, this might be a good next step for them. It's a little more mature, but really good. And then Mexican Gothic was really good as well. It was much less thriller than I was expecting and more horror. It's kind of on the cusp of both genres, but I would say maybe leans more towards horror. But it was really good as well. And, you know, I love my girl Noemi. She's badass. But the comparison I would draw for that book is Lock Every Door by Riley Sagar. If you read and liked that book, I think that Mexican Gothic is kind of in a similar vein with the like old Gothic building, weird family / residence, and like a lot of the same imagery. I don't really want to spoil anything for you on either book, but just kind of similar vibes in overall tone. So if you like one, I think you will like the other. And yeah, that's about all I have to say on that. I don't want to give any spoilers on, you know, the endings, of course. I'm gonna take a nap. I'll try to update you later on some final thoughts and close out this video when I have a little more energy. I am like halfway through The Inheritance of Orquidea, Divina, but I don't think I'm going to finish it in this video just because I need some time to edit and post. So I've run out of time. Anyway, I'll update you a little later. Bye. Hello. I am feeling a little more coherent and put together, so I just wanted to film some closing thoughts on this video. I unfortunately didn't end up finishing The Inheritance of Orquidea Divina in time. I am about 3/4 of the way through it, so not much further to go. But if you are interested in seeing my final thoughts, I'll be posting a review over on my Goodreads. It's linked in the description down below in every one of my videos. So you can go follow me over there if you want to see what I thought. Anyway, I did finish 2 books though. Obviously, we've talked about them ad nauseum, and that is Cemetery Boys and Mexican Gothic. Both of them were 5 stars. Really enjoyed and would recommend to most people. I think they have a pretty wide audience that would enjoy them, so if they sound interesting, they're probably for you. I also want to hit upon something that is important that I think this video is a good point at which to discuss it, which is diversity. These type of heritage months and cultural awareness days and all that sort of thing are a great time to really examine the content that you are consuming and making sure that it is as diverse and reflective as our world is. So not only the books that you read, but also if you are active on YouTube, the videos that you watch, it's worth going through your subscription boxes and seeing if you have content creators, booktubers, gamer channels, whatever it is that you watch, if you are following some Latinx creators as well, because their perspective and their voices are invaluable. You can't get that perspective from anyone else with that amount of experience backing it. So it's important. Make sure that you are following people that will educate you and will give you a new perspective on things. But also, books are a great place to be doing that as well. Authors often will bring up topics in their writing that you can't find in other places, and even in these 2 books alone, a lot of interesting topics were covered, from cultural appropriation, especially cultural appropriation of like the Day of the Dead artwork and sugar skulls and that type of a thing, as well as topics of immigration, topics of racism, topics of the drug dealer stereotype or drug cartel stereotype that is often applied to Hispanic people, and a lot of other issues that I think were really topical and really important and I didn't know a lot about, so it was great getting a new perspective. Please do all the good stuff. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I post. It's every Friday, just a hint. Like this video, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I'll see you next week.